All, this is Dr. Mobeen Sayed from DrBeen.com. Welcome to one more show. So I am excited today about Johnson and Johnson. My concerns, which I had discussed before, are still there, but I have some very exciting news that I want to share in context of the Johnson and Johnson. And I think we are reaching a point now that we would be getting out of this time. So let's start. How is everyone doing? I saw Michelle's comment here that she's received her first Novavax trial on Friday, go back on February 19, and will have them unblind me. Awesome. And Michelle, did you have any side effects? Did you feel anything? How was it? Actually, Didi has asked the same thing. Did you have any side effects with the jab? Billy says when. So hopefully Michelle had it now, right? This Friday. So received my first Novavax trial on Friday. So that is, today's Tuesday, so 4 days ago. So welcome everyone. Thank you. Everyone is here. There's so many folks are here. Margaret, welcome. Stephen, turns out it wasn't wind, but rather a house exploding 2 blocks. Really? Okay. It killed an elderly. Wow, that's so sad. Walking Tall says, taking my bi-weekly dose of ivermectin. So let's start our discussion. I want to keep this part of the video small, and then we can continue our discussion in a chat later on if you want. So let's start it. So this is DrBeen.com. And then here is my Patreon page as well. So in the description of this video, the top link is about this Patreon page. And guess what? I already have 2 patrons here. Look at that. And I already have $9 per month committed. So awesome. Thank you very much to both of them. I believe they are... anyway, so 2 folks are already here, so thank you very much. And what I did was I took the ivermectin man's function pictures and put them here. So this is the ivermectin man. This is ivermectin's normal function, and that is the paralysis of the worm muscles. And so this is the GABA gated chloride channels that it opens. And then here is the function of the ivermectin. If you see here, this little ivermectin is sitting here. And that is when it blocks the viral cargo. And so interferon continues. I will probably take the initial part and it's not Luffy's fault. I'll take that part and take it off. So let's start. My apologies again. This was a logistical issue. So the Patreon is out here. There are 2 patrons already there. And so I will continue to make more videos now. And please, if you would like to support me using the Patreon, here we are. So that is that. Then for various Johnson & Johnson vaccine related videos within our own channel, I have done a video about the mechanism of action, how this vaccine is built, then another video about the phase 1 and 2 trial. And now today we're talking about the interim trial results for phase 3. And then here is the Johnson & Johnson's own. This is the article that I had alluded to when we were doing FAQs yesterday and day before yesterday. So I'm going to go in a little more detail here. And this is the NIH data about the Johnson & Johnson. So now I'm going to go to my illustration. So here it is. The first thing here. So this is a cool bean from New Zealand. And he or she sent me this. So here, can you imagine that somewhere in the world, there is a rock? So she says that, Dr. Bean, thank you for all you do. Or he says, thank you for all you do. You have a wonderful heart. On my holiday camping, I have painted a heart for you. I live in New Zealand and we feel so lucky to have a great Prime Minister. We are free of COVID-19, but know it could change any day. May God please, you and your family, if you ever come to New Zealand, we'll give you the gold nugget, which is this rock, and then love your cats. Mine is 21 years old. So can you imagine that somewhere in the world is a rock that is painted in gold, and someone took the time to actually paint it and then draw on it and then write Dr. Bean, Heart of Gold? So I am blown away. Thank you very much for this gesture. So let's continue now with the trial for Johnson & Johnson. So quick introduction to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We have done this part of introduction in almost every video, so I'm not going to go into details of it. I want to go to the interim results. So vaccine name AD26-CoV2 spike S. This is the AD26, which Sputnik looked at this number and said, well, we also have adenovirus number 26, and that is why we are similar. I will talk about Sputnik tomorrow. They have also released interim result data to say that we are 91.5% effective as well. So we'll talk more tomorrow about that. Company Janssen, which is a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson. The type of vaccine is an adenovirus vaccine or adenovirus vaccine. This vaccine is built in copies of fetal tissue, which are called PERC6 cells. These are proprietary cells of the Johnson & Johnson's subsidiaries. Antigen production, so what kind of things that adenovirus is carrying? It is carrying the RNA or DNA for the spike protein. Adjuvants, I haven't yet found the adjuvants. One we have their PDF will know more. Availability early 2021. So of course they're getting ready. They're saying that within this early February, so February has started, we are in the early February. They are saying that early February they would apply for emergency use authorization. Storage, normal refrigeration storage level 2 to 8 degrees centigrades, and this can stay fine at this for 3 months at this refrigerated storage level. And then at -4 or -20 degree, -4 degree Fahrenheit to -20 degrees centigrade, it can be there for 2 years. And why can they claim that? The reason for that is that the AdVac platform or this kind of vaccine using this adenovirus, they have already been making for years. And they already know the properties of this vaccine because they've been making it early on as well. All they had to do was take that PERC6 cells, have an adenovirus injected in those cells that had the DNA for the spike protein. All the remaining platform, they have been using it for other vaccines forever. Because of that, they are aware of how it would behave. Remember, Janssen, they acquired it, I believe, in 1959 or something, so decades ago. And Janssen had acquired a company that made the PERC6 cells. So it is quite decades ago that this whole technology was coming together. Now, why is Johnson & Johnson better? So this is my depiction of the Johnson & Johnson coming in the race late, but then already overtaking Moderna's and Pfizer's of the world. So here is the Moderna and Pfizer tiger. They are leaping, and Johnson & Johnson has already taken off. So here are some good things about Johnson & Johnson. Number one, it is a single shot. That is the most important thing. For example, I have been thinking about traveling for a long time, and I know that I'm not going to travel without the vaccine. And it is kind of a bummer to say, all right, I'm going to wait for 2 vaccine shots and then some days to be able to fully vaccinated. Here we have one single shot, which leads to immunity. And the interesting thing is, you would see that a little later, that as the days pass, the immunity continues to build. For example, in their phase 3 interim results that we are looking at now, they are saying that nobody who was vaccinated got severely ill after 59 days. Before that, people did become ill after they were vaccinated, but nobody died. So they prevented the death before that. But after 59 days, the immunity had developed so much that even the infection stopped occurring, or the severe infection stopped occurring, which is awesome. So the immunity keeps building. Storage is easy. Single shot is the most important thing. Storage is easy. Then we know that T helper 1 cells are more dominant in this vaccine compared to T helper 2. Excuse me. That means that the antibody overproduction of antibody and the chances of ADE are less. Good efficacy against the variants. And this one, I think that even Moderna and Pfizer's will have good efficacy against the variants. So it is not that they have a different kind of spike protein and the Moderna and Pfizer have a different spike protein. No deaths in their interim result analysis. There have been no deaths in the vaccinated group because of COVID. There were 3 deaths in the vaccinated group, but they were unrelated causes. Because of COVID, there is no death. So that is also a very important thing. So I hope you like this little diagram I made. This is a popular picture. I just redid that in my own way. So results. Here is what they have done. So if you go here to this document, and if you would see over here that they have various countries that have taken part in it. So this is what they've done. Number 1, US. Number 2, Latin America. And number 3, South Africa. These are the 3 regions or 3 groups of vaccinations. So in the Latin America, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Brazil, and Argentina. Chile. And then South Africa. These are the countries that they had run the trial on. Now, what are the results? It is funny that I'm almost at the end of the discussion, and I almost spent like 4 or 5 hours pulling the data together and drawing it. It becomes easy. So here is the total number of people who participated in the vaccination. So they are 44,325. Of course, half of them are going to be in placebo and the remaining half are the vaccinated one. The age was 18 years and above. 60 years and above were 30% or more. So a good population was 60 years and above, plus a good population was diverse groups or various high-risk ethnic groups. And here is what they have done. There were total, so for these 44,325 people, there were total of 468 infections. Of course, the dominant infections were in the placebo group compared to the vaccinated. Vaccinated group accumulated. This accumulated number is something that I object on for AstraZeneca because over there the doses were different. Here the doses are not different, so you can actually put them together and then do a cumulative number. 66% efficacy overall. So that efficacy is lower than Moderna or Pfizer. And that efficacy is after 1 shot. That is the interesting part. It is still beyond 60% that was asked of the vaccine companies. 85% efficacy to prevent severe disease. So that means, if I can hypothesize, if 100 people get this vaccine, 66 people will not get infected. In the remaining, the 85% will not get severe infection, not in the remaining. Out of the total 100, even when some get infection, 85% will not get severe infection. There are no deaths. So there is a protection even if there is a severe infection. Interestingly, check this out. 100% protection after 28 days. 100% protection from hospitalization and deaths. And this is also very interesting, and that is 0 cases of severe disease after 49 days of the vaccination. So that is very interesting. So how do I, if I just summarize it, efficacy is 66%, but as the days continue to pass on, efficacy increases. And then after 49 days have passed, the chances of severe disease or hospitalization or death because of COVID-19 are zero. Now, up till 28 days, it is possible that there is severe disease, but that still does not result in COVID-related death. After 28 days, there is no hospitalization or there is no death. And after 49 days, there is actually zero cases. So that it's really interesting. I love it. Now, how do they have the regional results? So if we do not look at their overall numbers, if we just look at country by country or region by region, in the US, their efficacy is 72%. In the Latin America, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, their efficacy is 66%, and that is because of the variant. And then in South Africa, their efficacy is the smallest, and that is 57%. And one of the reason is that 95% of the infections that occurred after vaccine were with the new variant. So lesser than asked, the asked number is 60%. And so they were lesser than that. But still, they were able to handle this variant as well. So that is interesting. And then side effects. This is the most fun thing for me to look at. And you can see I made a little happy emoji as well. So if you see here, side effects, safety data. Overall, fever rates were 9%. So it is well tolerated. They have been using this vaccine platform for a long time, so they know what is the behavior of this one. So fever in 9%, grade 3 fever, a little higher fever, only in 0.2%. And this was the funny one. Overall, serious adverse effects reported were higher in participants who received placebo compared to others. So serious side effects were actually more in placebo than the vaccinated group. And in the vaccinated group, 9% had fever, and that is it that they have to report. Of course, when we look at their data, we'll know more. We'll see exactly what kind of effects are there. But this was worth sharing, and that is just 9%. Next steps, they are going to apply for an emergency use authorization request in early February. We are in the early February, so we'll see what happens. This is the result. I love it. The reason that I love it, so there are some things that are not that great. What is not great is this. This is not great. This part, 57% efficacy against a new variant in South Africa. So they may have to tweak their DNA genetic material for the spike protein according to this new variant. But this is what I really love, 72% efficacy in the US. 66% efficacy is kind of on the margin. That is fine as well. I think that it would be interesting that, and I feel that they will make some changes to their platform or to their DNA sample later on. But this has a pretty good effect. One dose continues to improve the immunity. Side effects are almost none, and they are covering the other diseases as well. So this is what we have. Sorry about the technical glitch. Now tell me this, would you like me to come back and we can continue with that chit chat, and this way I can close this one here, and that way it can stay smaller in size? Okay, so let me do this. I'm gonna hang up now, close this lecture, and I'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll just have chit chat.